Hello and welcome to my next vlog. This is the evaluation vlog. This is for the film production documentary that I did 2 weeks ago, something like that. And in this evaluation I'll be going through the whole process from for the production, and I'll be going through the crew members as well with not introduction but interviews, there you go. They'll introduce themselves and they'll say what they did and what they think they did well and what they could possibly improve on, but I doubt there's anything. So, move on to the skills that I've learned through the whole of this production. So I've definitely learned some more communication skills with obviously the crew. So during the production, before starting, we were discussing all the ideas that we could put in, different camera angles, stuff like that. So we were communicating, even though it was my documentary, we were all bringing in ideas as we were doing it. Obviously the most obvious one is, well, not the most obvious, but editing. So I have learned a lot of new editing skills, such as, well, obviously I was using a green screen in that room, so that's something new that I've learned this time, as well as mixing in audio with the audio from the mic as well, microphone. So the green screen and blending in, syncing the audio from the mic with the way I'm talking in the video, if that makes sense. Yeah. So obviously the process of production, well, included of the crew, so it was Adam that was in charge of the camera, the lighting a little bit, and George was in charge of the microphone and making sure that there's no, I don't know, he was just in charge of the mic, wasn't he? He did a really good job, obviously, because the audio wasn't fuzzy at all, and don't think there's anything else, to be honest. So obviously the equipment I've used is a camera, a tripod, obviously the lights that were already in there, but that counts as part of the equipment, and the green screen, which I mentioned before. So the camera and lighting and the tripod is nothing new to me because we've already used it to record vlogs like these. Obviously the microphone was obviously new to George as well as to me to put it into the editing software and make it as it's meant to be. So that follows up for the skill as well as the green screen. It was something new to me to mess around with and make the background a different colour, get transparent images so there's no white background in them, stuff like that basically. So to follow up with the communication skill that I talked about before, along with the crew, we discussed the ideas that we were going to do. Well, even though it was maybe my documentary or Adam's or George's, we still discussed the ideas as it was to make sure that there's nothing wrong with it, that the lighting's obviously perfect, so there's no shadows, the camera's in focus, and yeah, basically just make sure the equipment is in the right place. So moving on to your editing, there's obviously a lot of major parts to this. So it obviously started with going through the brief and making sure to take all the areas off that we've done. So there was plenty of areas, such as we had to use obviously professional audio, so microphone. As I said before, this was something new to me, so I was very confused of what to do. As well as with when we recorded this first, for the first try I recorded it and exported it obviously and then put it onto Classroom, and then there was a few ideas that Amy and a different teacher put in that maybe change the background so it doesn't distract the viewer as much as it would with a different colour. Basically that's just one of the major points to do. The next one is obviously to put in a few copyright free soundtracks, so that's another thing that I've done. Obviously it was another editing part, so make it the right amount of decibels so it fits in perfectly with the mood, as well as obviously with the audio to make it the right volume so it doesn't overlap each other. So obviously the other major parts with the editing was making sure that all the transitions between the shots, so obviously I used two different shots, the close up on the side and the long shot, so the whole of my body was in the shot, including my feet. Yeah, so basically I had to make sure that all the transitions were perfect, so well, I did do a simple transition, so I went like that and then swayed into the other shot and then made a cringy intro, but let's not mention that. And then yeah, that's basically it for the main side of this evaluation. Now I'm going to bring on the interviews with the crew members. So this is the first interview with Adam. He was the camera operator and well, he's going to say what he did now.
So I operated the camera, so what my job was to keep all the Gratines footage stable, which we used a tripod, but obviously as well I had to make sure the camera's all set up properly and stuff. Also with the focusing as well, I had to keep it all in focus, which was one of the requirements on the brief, so I had to make sure that, as I said, I was using, because we had to use manual focus, so I had to make sure I was using the ring focus, so I made sure it was all obviously in focus, like I said. So it's basically just make it all look professional, makes it all sorted out, so you didn't have to do it all over again. So.
Yeah, so obviously Adam did a really good job with making sure that all the footage is stable and obviously in focus, because we don't want to miss any major points out, so we follow the brief as it goes. So this was one of the requirements and Adam's done it really well. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
So this is my second interview with George. He was the microphone operator, and yeah, just say what you did.
Hello, like Gratine said, I was a microphone operator.
Get back here.
Nah, I'm a microphone operator and I helped with the sound with a mic, as you could see, or you couldn't see because I was
here
behind the scenes, but you could see here. I used the mic.
A big for everything.
Big for everything, and I did a good job, I think, because there was no fuzzy sounds, there was
no static.
No static. I mean, I think I've gone deaf with the amount of times that Gratine clipped a board.
Watch my documentary to find out why.
I've gone deaf quite. I'm pretty sure.
You can hear me now, so it's alright.
Yeah, but yeah, you did. I feel the product was really good. I enjoyed.
So that was one of the points to do as well.
The audio was crisp and clear. I don't know who did the audio. I mean, he must be a good-looking guy. Yeah.
Let's beep again. So obviously these were the two interviews with the two crew members. So George, the microphone operator, and Adam, the camera operator. So obviously they did both a really good job. So as they both said, there were two major requirements to do. Obviously, record professional audio on a mic, and be able to use the right lighting and do the right focusing on the whole production scheme.
Yeah.
Brief, there you go. That's what I was looking for. And yeah, basically, so they both did a really good job, as we all heard. George did a really good job at making sure there was no static noises, there's no fuzzy audio, and obviously that, because we were working at a busy corridor, the audio didn't pick up anyone walking past or anyone talking in the background or anything like that. So George did a really good job at that, as well as Adam did a really good job at setting up the cameras and making sure the lighting is all good, making sure there's no shadows, making sure that all the footage is in place as it's meant to be, with the focusing and stuff like that. Yeah. Thank you for watching. So as you can see from the screen that I just put in, I am a numpty and I forgot to do my peer assessments to talk about him. So I've picked two out, the two most valuable ones So I picked Daniel Bold and Adam Jones's feedback that they gave me. So Daniel put because for my first upload I didn't do anything with the green screen. My audio, I didn't realise this, and I realised this until everyone told me to do something. So I realised that the audio was not very good. I could finally hear myself, not hear myself over the soundtrack. So Daniel put, obviously he put the goods, here I'm going to be talking about the improvements. Well, I've already done them, but I'll just read them out. So Daniel put, add something to the green screen. So this is obviously one of the valuable ones, because obviously I had to put something on the green screen, because I could clearly tell that I was getting distracted as well when I was watching it back. I was constantly looking at the green screen, and obviously green's a very attractive colour. So I changed the colour to the same colour similar to my t-shirt I was wearing in that vlog, well, documentary, not vlog. And I changed it to like a greyish colour so it made more sense. So obviously it was attracted at me instead of a big green screen in the background. So that was Daniel's feedback. So moving on to Adam's. So Adam, being a star that he is, he put quite a lot. So he put the audio that I recorded for my voice, so through the mic that George recorded, it was all perfect, but I messed up on the record a little bit, and he put that my voice is a bit too low and I can adjust that, which I did. So I minimalised the soundtrack and I put a bit more volume on decibels for my voice, so it's easy to hear me now, and you can still hear the music in the background, so it's all balanced out perfectly. So you put, I can hear you, but I missed a few words here and there, so Adam, you won't miss any now if you watch that back. Sorry. So most of these peer assessments are on about the green screen and the audio, which I did a bit of an oopsie on. So this is it for my peer assessment. Thank you very much.